Hi, Mr. Lindstrom. This is my 4.2 redo video. Question 1 is asking to draw and explain the money market graph in a limited reserve system. So first to a label, this is the nominal interest rate, and then at the bottom, it's the quantity of money. Then you're going to add in your demand, demanding, which is a downward sloping curve, and then you're going to add your supply, which is a vertical line, and then right here would be your equilibrium at Q, M, and IR1. In a limited reserves system, the money market graph shows how the interest rate is set by the money supply and demand. Question 2 is asking, explain why the money supply is vertical and what shifts the money supply. So the money supply is controlled by the Federal Reserve. It doesn't depend on the interest rate in the short run. So no matter what the interest rate is, the quantity of money will always stay the same. This makes it perfectly inelastic, therefore being a vertical line. What causes the money supply to shift is if the Fed prints or removes money, if they buy bonds or sell bonds, if they lower or raise the reserve requirements, or if they lower or increase the interest rates on reserves. So the money supply will shift to the right if there's more money in the system, and if there's less money, it will shift to the left. Question 3 is asking to explain why the demand curve is downward sloping and what shifts the demand curve. So why it slopes down is because people choose between holding money or holding interest earning assets like bonds. So when interest rates are high, people want less money, and when interest rates are low, people want more money. This causes the money demanded to be downward sloping. Things that shift the demand curve is higher income would shift it right, and then lower income would shift it left. Higher price level or inflation would shift it right, and then lower prices would shift it left. And then more transactions would shift it right, and better payment technology would shift it left. And then uncertainty will cause it to shift to the right, and then more trust in businesses and banks and assets will cause it to shift to the left. So more spending or need for money causes it to shift to the right, and less need for cash will shift it to the left.